Found out my dead best friend was in love with my wife. I'm writing this as a confession because I don't know where else to speak about this, and I don't want my kids finding this on my main account. My friend died a few months back due to heart problems. He was taking care of himself, so it was a shock to everyone, especially his wife who was with them at their house when he died. Due to this, she decided to move somewhere else, and because she and her daughter were still distraught, she asked me to pack up his stuff. He had some boxes in his basement, and after a while, I started to feel nostalgic and decided to look into them. I found pictures of us from when we were kids all the way to before we got married. That was enough to make me feel bad, and I just got back to taping them up. But one of the boxes seemed to be in much better condition, so I decided to check it in case it was something important. To my surprise, I found out pictures of him and my wife from when we used to hang out together, as well as more recent pictures from family reunions. The more recent being from my wife's birthday party. Alongside the pictures there were letters that he never sent her. The first one dated 2 months before I met her. The last one was also the same date of her birthday party. There was one that stood out the most, was one from after I started dating her. He wrote that his time had passed, and since my happiness was as important as his own, he would watch over us. I'll keep his box safe since it isn't my secret to reveal. I don't think this is bad. I don't think it's like something you should hide. I honestly think that's not, he had good intentions and he felt the way he felt, but since his best friend's happiness was more important, I don't think that's really much of a confession than anything. That's just a good friendship. I feel like this reminds me of the song, I Wish I Had Jesse's Girl. Because Jesse was his best friend, I think. Maybe his best friend that passed wrote the song. I don't think I personally have ever felt like that, but I've been in a situation like that in high school, though, not like in adulthood. But I had dated a guy whose best friend also, I guess, was in love with me, which was high school. Again, he told me in a note, and also what makes it more complicated was that he was my best friend's boyfriend. So it just made the whole thing complicated, and I just cut all of it off. And I was like, see ya, guys. This is weird for me. I don't think most people in that situation would be as respectful. They would usually voice it to, the wife or something, or do something, sadistic or behind someone's back. So I think that he had a really good best friend for not really acting upon it and just keeping it to himself and putting his best friend's happiness before his. The top comment states, he not only loved your wife, he loved you just as much. I think so too, because that's like loving your best friend just as much as he's your brother. And the reply states, this is a bigger takeaway. Many people fall in love out of their control. Only few have enough respect for the others involved to suffer in silence. He may have loved your wife, but he loved you more. Take that and hold on to that. Some people never have friends like that. That reminds me of Friends, when Joey fell in love with Rachel, and he didn't act upon it because he loved Ross as his brother. So he didn't want to screw up the friendship and all that, but Ross ended up giving him permission, and then it just felt weird because Rachel and him were too far deep in being friends anyways. So someone commented saying, make sure your friend's wife never finds out about that box either. Why not? He's passed on, and I don't know, maybe he's right, because maybe it would mess with her mind, but if she loves her husband, it wouldn't really mess with her mind that much, because then she'll feel the same and be like, oh, well, he respected our relationship. Another comment stated, imagine loving someone and having a life and children together. You were devastated by your significant other's sudden death, leaving you a single parent without your partner, the person you were supposed to grow old with. Dealing with the death and aftermath is obviously an emotional process. Now, imagine after continuing to deal with that, you found out that your partner, the parent of your child, loved someone else. Imagine the questions that will never be answered. The possible resentment for the woman, a close family friend. Did he really love me? Would he have left me for her? Did he flirt with her, cheat on me? That's just such a terrible thing to do to someone's memory of someone, to tarnish the person's memory, and they can't answer questions or respond. She would always wonder, and it could affect her memory of her dead husband and the father of her children. So this person flipped it and reversed it like Missy Elliott, and kind of referenced that one show by Todd McFarlane, Spawn, where Spawn died and then his best friend just was Mr. Steel Girl and kind of betrayed him. But I think that's a different story because he wasn't really a good friend anyways to Spawn. I personally don't think this story is that sad other than the best friend dying. And it's not like bad or good even. It's kind of neutral. I think it could be made into a movie actually. Like he left notes everywhere, letters, and the wife found out, and now the wife's following the letters and reading it and falling in love with the dead best friend. If I was in the wife's position and if I found out this thing, I think if I was in a secure marriage, it wouldn't screw up my world, but I probably would have nightmares about it because I have nightmares about things like that, and then the nightmare ruins my whole day. But I would probably just like think about it, and I'd probably have a lot of questions.